Hi, my name is Aiden Lin.
I'm Adam Frindrick,
I'm Juan Perez.
I'm Hallie Cooper.
and today we'll be presenting on ways we can save sea turtles from extinction. So, the topics we will be covering today is the importance of sea turtles in Earth's ecosystems, the current stats on sea turtle population and their endangerment status, various threats to sea turtles that make them face endangerment, the solutions we can do to help them regain their population, and comparing those solutions.
According to the Sea Turtle Conservation Bonaire, sea turtles have been maintaining our ocean ecosystem and environment for over 150 million years. The hawksbill sea turtle, for example, has been maintains our coral reefs by eating sea sponges that would otherwise suffocate and kill our coral reefs. Another example of this is the leatherback sea turtle, which eats jellyfish that would otherwise wreak havoc on our maritime activities. Sea turtle eggs and hatchlings also help with our beach ecosystem by providing nutrients for predators that eat the eggs, as well as vegetation which feed off the eggshells. In recent years, however, the sea turtle population has been dramatically decreased, allowing for jellyfish and sea sponges populations to increase. This has led for greater havoc on maritime activities, as well as the smothering of coral reefs and their elimination. And there are many ways in which sea turtles are being killed. Sea turtles are getting caught in fishing trawls, which are trying to catch other different types of fish. According to Laura Snyder from The Hill, there are over 50,000 sea turtles killed every year in the Gulf of Mexico and Southeast, killed by fishing trawls for shrimp. Pollution is another huge thing that's killing them. According to Chris Wilcox, around 52% of the population of sea turtles every year ingest plastic pollution worldwide, but this can vary dramatically from each region. Another thing that's also happening is habitat loss from climate change and from human activity. The beaches where the sea turtles live and lay their eggs, and the coral reefs in which they live, are being disrupted by human activities such as runoff from agriculture and land clearing. Another thing that's also happening is the illegal trade and consumption of sea turtles. According to the World Wildlife, tens of thousands of sea turtles every year are killed due to illegal trade and illegal consumption.
So for this issue, we prepared 3 solutions. The first of which would be to pass a comprehensive legislation to protect and restore sea turtle populations to what they were before. So this solution is realistic and feasible for the fact that it takes a relatively short amount of time to pass policies to restore the populations. And according to the Parliamentary Monitoring Group, the shortest time between introduction and commencement be as short as 21 days, which is a lot shorter than most other environmental policies. And secondly, similar laws such as the Endangered Species Act of 1973 have proven to be largely successful in the past, and by implementing other policies and bills similar to that, we can hopefully further restore the sea turtle populations to what they were before. And according to the Center for Biological Diversity, 78% of marine mammals and 75% of sea turtles increase their population size under the protection of the Environmental Protection Act. However, with the solution, there are limitations and drawbacks, one of which being that it is difficult to monitor and enforce these policies and bills and ensure that the general public follows these bills. And according to the International Union for Conservation, violations still happen frequently and at a large scale, but with no successful criminal or civil lawsuits, which can make it difficult for these policies to be effective on a national scale. Secondly, most policies and bills require votes from people so that they're passed in the first place, and according to the United States House of Representatives, a bill is put on a calendar to be voted on debated or amended, and for that reason, it is largely important that the general public is aware of how important this situation is, so that policies can be made, adjustments to be made for the sea turtle population to be restored.
The second solution is to reduce interactions with commercial fisheries. To do this, we can use the TEDs. TEDs are turtle excluder devices that help sea turtles escape. According to Oceana, TEDs are 97% effective at reducing the mortality rates. And according to the U.S. Department of State Dispatch, these TEDs were made mandatory in all commercial fisheries and trawl vessels in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Caribbean. This solution is realistic and feasible because TEDs are very low cost and extremely effective. According to the NOAA fisheries, TEDs cost between $325 and $550 per net. This is very cheap because fishermen can earn $84 to $321 per day, according to Bill Lewandowski. Another reason this solution is realistic and feasible is because there was already a mandatory installment, says the State Dispatch, in 1993. However, there are some limitations to the solution. The first limiting factor is that it is very difficult to track independent fishermen using TEDs. But if they were in a company, the company would require them to install a TED. But in this case, they are not, so it would not be a requirement. The last limitation is that there is a lower revenue for fishermen. And according to David Schiffman, there is a 5 to 13% decrease in revenue. However, these limitations can be fixed. For the tracking of shrimp vessels, there could be a check for TEDs, and for the reduced revenue, according to David Schiffman, that is a number that decreases with TED experience.
Our final solution is to protect key habitats in the overall environment of sea turtles. Some important steps include reducing coastal development, reducing marine debris and pollution, protecting nesting and hatching sites for sea turtles, reducing human carbon footprint, and educating the general public on the importance of saving sea turtles. This diagram shows the decline in sea turtle abundance from pre-human times to the present with potential trajectories for the future. According to Karen Bajorno, director of the Archie Carr Center for Sea Turtle Research, this schematic illustrates 3 scenarios for the future. 1. If nothing is done to sustain the present levels of abundance, the populations will go extinct. 2. Populations can be sustained at their present state. And 3. Populations can be restored and sustained at various population levels. Contributions from all members of society are needed to restore sea turtle abundance to a level where they can fulfill all of their ecological roles. The good news is that many actions have been taken by the government and the general public. Here are some examples of people being reminded of their obligation to protect sea turtle nests. The advisory messages such as these will gradually educate and enhance awareness of the general public to protect sea turtles. Funding is still one of the biggest challenges. Fortunately, there are many non-profit organizations that work tirelessly to protect sea turtles and their environments. One such organization is SPD Turtles. This picture shows the great achievements made by the SPD Turtles organization, raising $1 million since their launch. Based on this information, we believe that the long-term solution depends on the whole society taking ownership of the issue. In addition to the government providing adequate funding to the right organizations at the right times, it really requires education, awareness, and voluntary actions from the general public to truly protect sea turtles on a day-to-day basis.
This table provides a summary of the 3 different solutions we just discussed. Legislations and TEDs have proven to be effective at some extent, but there's not much more room for further improvement. In order to save the sea turtles, we must look at solution 3 more closely and take proactive steps.
Solution 3 is most needed and effective because it is a long-term solution which calls for the whole society to establish awareness through education and take volunteer actions through personal responsibility. It is addressing the issue from an overall environmental perspective. By saving sea turtles, we are also helping ourselves in establishing a healthier ecosystem. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you were right at 10 minutes, so that was a good job keeping it under. I just got a couple of questions for you. Okay, let's start with Aiden. You're at the end there. So give a specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about Hadley's findings from his IRR. How did that make you think differently about this project?
So Hadley's IRR, he focused on the futuristic lens of saving sea turtles. And so he had a lot of stuff that we could use to benefit the future of sea turtles. In his IRR, he addressed the importance of TEDs, which was our first solution, and that the amount he talked about that in his IRR really influenced the first solution and the claims and evidence in the first solution.
Perfect. Okay, Adam, for your final sort of solution, you said this one was most effective. What was the strongest counter argument to your solutions overall, or this one in particular, that you guys had to address in order to justify this?
So one large counter argument against the general public taking action is that it can be hard to gauge whether they want to take action or not, and it's hard to enforce that among people just because it's based on free will and on their if they feel the need to protect the sea turtles. It's also really important to that's why we should educate them on it. But yeah, it can be very difficult to for the general public just because it won't be controlled by law.
Okay, good. Let's see, Nolan, reflecting on the whole group's work, which one of these guys had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of what was going on with sea turtles?
I'd say that Hadley's IRR mostly helped because of the futuristic lens. It also told me how ways to help the sea turtles and how to save them through many of his solutions that he put in his IRR.
Good. And then finally, Hadley, what's an example of a compelling argument from one of these three guys' IRRs that you guys chose not to use in your presentation, and maybe why didn't you choose to use it?
One compelling argument that we chose not to use was Nolan's argument about ecotourism. We chose not to use this argument because we felt that it didn't really add a lot to it, because we were mostly focused on saving the sea turtles and not about the economic impact of it.
Good. Thanks, guys.